So, in terms of history made today, I have both good and bad news. I will start with the bad news. Today marks 20 years since MG Rover finally shut its doors, and I'm going to tell you about some of their cars that are pretty fucking great in my opinion. Firstly, Rover SD1 Vitesse, rear-wheel drive V8 car from the 70s, looks like a cheese wedge, and was driven by one of my favourite ever rally drivers, Tony Pond. He called it the big girl. Best thing about it, he drove it like a fucking nutter. This is some footage from the 1983 Manx Rally, which Tony Pond drove at in one of these SD1 Vitesses. He had a fervent loyalty to Rover. He also drove the 6R4 and helped them develop it and build it. He also set the absolute speed record for the TT lap in a car with the Rover SD1, which wasn't broken until I think 2016 in a Subaru by Mark Higgins. But this car was competing in Group A against Opel Mantas, which had 4 less cylinders and about 200 or 300 kilos less weight. And Tony Pond ended up finishing 3rd overall. And Jimmy McRae, Colin's dad, won the event. Literally just fucking watch this car get fucking sent around. Oh my god, this is a big fucking V8 lump. And it's just dancing around all the corners. It's ridiculous. God, if I could drive 10% as good as Tony Pond did, fuck, I'd die so happy. It's ridiculous. The best thing is, in order to maintain his 3rd place, in the last 6 stages of the event, he set the fastest time in 5 of the stages. So, can you imagine having a couple hundred kilos weight extra and still setting the fastest time? That's how fucking mad this dude was. He's fucking, look at it! Oh my god! And then it shows you here on the podium, that's Jimmy from driving his Manta that you can see behind him in a second. But yep, 2 Opel Mantas, followed by a much heavier car right on their fucking heels. Love it. Obviously, I mentioned that Tony helped develop and build the 6R4. In my opinion, if it didn't come so late to Group B, and was actually given a few years to hone itself in the same way that the 205 T16 was, I think it could have been a contender. There was a few stages in the GB Rally in 1984, which my dad actually attended, where Tony Pond was only 8 seconds behind Delta S4s and 205 T16s. The fucking big dogs of Group B were he was nipping at their heels in what essentially was a prototype car. It was its first time out, really. They were still working out niggles. They had quite a few problems with the engine and the gearbox to just work out because it was its first proper year in competition. And then obviously it got canned in 1984. And that's sort of the story of MG Rover for the most part. They're just underdogs in every sense. People who love them have this unshakable loyalty to them. They're just fucking awesome car builders. One of the more unknown little factoids about the 6R4, and specifically the V6 engine in it, it went on to be used by Jaguar in the XJ220, or at least a version of it was. They had the spare blocks lying around from the Group B days. I do seem to remember someone explaining to me at a classic car show once that it was actually a myth that this Rover V6 was just the Rover V8 with 2 cylinders chopped off. It is actually, apparently there are subtle differences. I think that is an urban legend. One car I bet you didn't know was connected to MG Rover, the BMW 1 Series. Yep, that's right, the 1 Series started out as a Rover concept called the R30. I'm not actually sure if this is a real picture of the front end, because it looks so much like a 1 Series from the side profile that I think it might be photoshopped on the front. But you can absolutely see the design idea and the development. Obviously the Rover was shit canned and they sort of retain that design. The best thing I love about this factoid is that anyone who drives a 1 Series would fucking detest the idea of driving a Rover, whereas I would think it'd be kind of cool. But they also made amazing cars on such an affordable level. This is such an even cheaper alternative to the MX-5 that nobody ever talks about. It was a bit lackluster, but you can't say it looks any worse than a Mark 1 MX-5. It looks fine. You can understand why people would go for this. And I always loved the little hot hatch that they made. I know they apparently suffered from fucking catastrophic head gasket failure all the time, but they're just pretty. They're just fucking, look at it. It's so boisterous. It's just that is what a hot hatch should be. It looks a bit Max Powerish, and it's fucking standard. It's a bit excitable. Just proper lovely cars that they made throughout their history. And it's a shame they're gone. Same with Saab, same with any of them that have shut down over the past few years. But enough of bad news. I have some good news. Today, the first ever unisex bathroom in the world opened in London. That's right, Margaret Thatcher died today. You can actually already see around here there's some puddles where people have already started pissing. Don't know why someone's thought to leave a flower though. Her style of total and utter individualism and like pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, that would be tantamount to socialism, doing something for somebody else. That's wild. Get that the fuck out of there. I'm actually very glad that I was too young to be working full-time in 2013, because if any of my tax money went to funding her £5 million state funeral, I would have actually protested. But yeah, good news, one's dead. Bad news, one's dead. As far as I'm aware, BMW still do own the rights to MG Rover. I don't think they were sold to anyone else since then. But even though I'm not particularly religious, I think we can all join hands and fucking pray that Margaret Thatcher doesn't rise from the dead, because Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway.